Hey, what's everybody? Today I'm going to show you my trading method. It's called the house, and I'll teach you how you can trade like the casino, the house, where the edge and the probabilities are on your side. So let's get started. I realized that over my years of trading and losing money, that I was trading like the gambler. I had no risk management. I didn't have control over my emotions. And most importantly, I didn't have the math on my side. And so what I did was I developed a system that every wealthy company uses. It's the insurance companies, it's the casinos where they have the math working for them because any business is based on profits and losses. And if you have a mathematical edge, the probabilities working for you, that's how you can turn wealth, build generational wealth. And so that's my goal, is to teach you the house method, trading options where you can be the insurance company selling insurance on stock. So before you even learn the method, the four pillars of the house method, of any trading method, is your mindset, your math, your money, and the markets. And my method incorporates all four of these pillars in everything I teach. The mindset, you got to know the clarity, the purpose. You got to trade with confidence. Don't waver on your foundation. You know what your purpose is. You know exactly what your goals and objectives are, and you go for it. You don't let anything get in the way of it, whether it's your own greed, fear. You don't let it go away because you know that you're standing on the process, the probabilities, and most importantly, yourself. You got to trust yourself so that you can execute the trading plan. Next is math. One of my biggest pet peeves is people online on CNBC giving their opinions of what they think a stock is going to do, or telling you, oh, buy here, sell here. Well, you know what I do is I focus my opinions on the market based in math, based on what the numbers say. Because anybody can give you an opinion like Jim Cramer, buy this stock, push this red button. But do they really know? No, they don't know. There could be a war going in Iran the next day and the whole market tanks. So all those guys are just selling dreams. I put my method on the math and the probabilities so that you're not just guessing, you're actually trading. You take the guesswork out of trading by putting the probabilities on your side. That's what insurance companies and casinos do. There's no guessing. It's not a coincidence they make the billions of dollars, trillions of dollars. That's not guessing, that's the math. Then the money management. You got to make sure you're trading small. Trade small often and trust the probabilities. Because if you're trading bigger than 5% risk on any one trade, you're going to be up at night worrying, and then you're going to break your own rules. The key is knowing that you're trading small so that the losses don't bother you. Just like in Vegas, the casinos. If you're only betting 10 bucks a hand at blackjack, you're going to follow the rules and hit. If it says hit, you hit. But if you have like $300 on the line and then it says hit on a 13, you might like, oh, I don't know if I should hit. I might bust. So then you don't hit because you don't want to lose. And then the dealer hits a 5, gets 21, and you're like, why does this always happen? The casinos know this. They take advantage of our emotions. So we got to minimize it by trading small. And then the market, the big house, the whole shebang is the SPX. I'm going to teach you how to trade the market, not individual stocks. I'm not going to waste time filtering through 1,000 stocks, 8 sectors, looking for which one is performing, which one is setting up. That's just too much noise. I believe in keeping it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Because I'm not the smartest guy in the world. Trading does not have to mean you have a PhD in math. All it requires is keeping the process simple, mastering a strategy that you know inside and out, knowing what your edges are, and just repeating that edge again and again. So now that you know what the foundations and the four pillars of my method are, next, you need to learn how to trade like a business. This is what's called a positive expected value. That's just a fancy way of saying, do I make more money on my winners than I lose on my losers? And then in the end, is it positive? Do I have profits? That's like any business. Is my income greater than my expenses based on probabilities and payouts? Because when you start to trade options, that's nothing more than probabilities and payouts. How much are you willing to risk for a higher payout? Or how much are you willing to lay down for a lower payout? Defining your risk, and last, mechanical execution. Learn how to use bracket orders so that you could set it and forget it, and you don't have to stare at the screen waiting and hoping for FOMO, missing out, and all those emotions that become your own worst enemy. You eliminate it by keeping it mechanical, and you trade small, and you trust the math. So the four pillars leads to how to trade like a business, right? Not emotional. Then once you understand how to trade like a business, and you know that your foundation is built on rock, not sand, you have that faith. I strongly believe that you need a faith greater than yourself, a God that you know is going to keep you in check if you have that belief in the system, where you're not going to be swung by your emotions, and you don't get tempted by the market, because there's temptations left and right. And then, most importantly, the faith is what allows you to weather the storm. When you want to break your rules, but you trust the process, you're able to trust yourself because you're doing it for a greater purpose. And then your last foundation is being disciplined versus trading on emotion. These three things, called emotion free trading, this is what the framework of the house is built upon. And then in my next video, I'll show you how you can actually trade like the house by being the casino selling options. You're going to sell probabilities. And that's the exciting part. Why stocks is just the vehicle for direction, but you use options to leverage that. So I'll see you in the next one, and have a great trading day.